Of the Farm Bill Conference Committee is currently underway with all 56 members of the body, including Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell in attendance. RFD-TV's Sarah Mock is live in Washington, D.C.
Well, thanks, Janet. We did just see the end of that first meeting of the Farm Bill Conference Committee. We didn't see a lot of work or really any work get done today, but in the more than 60 opening statements we heard in that nearly 4-hour hearing, we did hear a good outline of kind of the key issues for folks across the country that will have to be hammered out in the next less than 10 legislative days to get this farm bill to the president's desk in time to beat the end of the 2014 Farm Bill's deadline of September 30th. Now, some breaking news right at the top. We did just moments ago speak with House Ag Committee Chairman Mike Conaway, and he said he did last week deliver an alternative farm bill, a compromise farm bill version, to the Senate leadership on the Ag Committee, and that it included alternatives to all 12 titles that were originally voted on in the House. Now, we asked him, of course, what that measure included, and he would not say. Leadership on this issue are keeping all the details of these negotiations very close to the vest. They say they do not want to kind of litigate through the media, but we'll be keeping an eye on that as we move forward. The senators did say that they were very excited to get the ball rolling and that they are ready and willing to get these negotiations started and get this done in as timely a manner as they possibly can. Now, of course, the big source of conflict here is that SNAP, those additional work requirements for SNAP or supplemental nutrition beneficiaries. That was obviously, we expect, one of the big compromises proposed in that bill. We did ask Mike Conaway whether he, of course, will be able to get that bill back through his House if it's significantly different from the one that initially passed. He says his leadership, Paul Ryan, has seen the bill, understands and approves of the compromise that he proposed. Now, we did hear something interesting from Colin Peterson, the ranking member on the House Ag Committee, as he exited the hearing today. He suggested essentially that the vast majority of these negotiations will happen through the principals. That's the ranking member on both committees and the two chairmen, Pat Roberts and Mike Conaway. And that kind of today's hearing was a bit of sort of political theater, so to say, with folks just being able to air their grievances and get some face time on the committee. Now, of course, there are still a number of big issues to be worked through: conservation, payment limits, and of course, one of the biggest things, just the price tag for this legislation, which had some differences between those bills. But with just a few days left to kind of figure this out, and with other big priorities looming in both houses, including a fiscal cliff coming up, you know, these folks are on the clock and they need to get this legislation passed before they head home for those November elections.
As always, thank you very much for keeping up with everything for us. We certainly appreciate it. A federal judge now also is lifting a gag order in North Carolina's hog nuisance lawsuits. That's after the judge imposed the rule to limit communications with the press, saying it could influence some jurors.